M7 may be the hardest floor in Skyblock, but it isn't actually that hard. You can do this floor at Kata 45 to 46, provided that you aren't bad and you have decent gear. This guide aims to talk about how lower Kata players transition from M6 to M7. I assume you know how to clear and play floor 7. Generally speaking, it's worth to play M7, since the money is so much better and the XP eventually gets better too. I did just about 600 runs all the way to Kata 50. Anyway, let's get into this. Gear-wise, you will obviously want decent gear. Playing any of the DPS classes, I'd recommend 9-star Necron with the Diamond Head. The Master Stars aren't required, but they will help greatly. As tank, you will want an Axe of the Shredded, Gloomlock Grimoire, 3/4 Goldor, and the 3 masks. We'll get into why later. As tank, you should also have a clearing set, which will be similar to the DPS classes. It doesn't need to be 9-star though, since clear is way more chill than the boss fight. Same with tank armor. I've seen tanks tank in like the most impossible Goldor, not even with gemstone slots. You should at least get some decent Goldor with Last Stand, Man of Empire, and gemstone slots obviously though. Archer requires more rigorous gear. I do not recommend playing Archer if you're under Kata 47, trust me, I know. And you will need a decent level Golden Dragon with 1 billion bank. By the way, the Ender Dragon bonus doesn't work in P5, stop saying it does. Playing real mage is really more of a high Kata thing, but if you really want me to know more about mage, let me know. Now, back to the 3 masks I mentioned earlier. Tanks have 3 masks on them, Bonzo, Frag Bonzo, and Spirit. Every time you die, you swap to the next mask, normally from Frag Bonzo to Spirit. This effectively gives you 3 extra lives. Obviously, this makes it slightly harder to die as tank, given that it basically triples your EHP, so get into the habit of doing this as tank if you ever want to be able to play the class. Gear aside, there's also finding a party. Finding a party is really hard at lower katas, which is why unless you want to wait in Party Finder for 3 hours like I did once, you'll need friends, sadly. Trying to get into higher kata parties like 47 or 48 is easier if you already have completions or are playing tank, so if you have a good number under your belt, you'll have a big advantage. Don't expect to get good times right off the bat, nor can you expect to get into good parties. When I was 46, I thought 12-minute runs were pretty good. Now I basically expect sub 10 from every party. In the actual dungeon, let's get into clearing. Clearing is pretty simple, just the same as M6. Mobs deal a bit more damage and have a lot more health, which is what you need to worry about. Also, bomb defuse, which you really need someone in your party to be able to do consistently. I'm no stonk master, so I can't teach you, but there are surely ways to learn on YouTube or something. Blood camp is only done if blood rush is really slow, or if there's a real mage who will blood camp after rushing with Archer. If there isn't blood camp, Archer should stay in the split in your blood. Oh yeah, also be careful about Diamante Giants. They will one-tap you, even if you're Kata 50, so be aware of that. You also want to be aware of your Power Blessing. Power Blessings are incredibly important for damage, especially as Archer. Power 14 is bad, Power of 19 is okay, Power 24 is good, and Power of Time basically is +2 or +3 to Blessing of Power. And that's basically what you have to care about, so adjust your expectations for the Archer accordingly. When you get to boss, it really starts. Berserkers will rush crystals like always, while everyone else goes behind the laser. Tank will spam AOTS to try to aggro Maxor, though his 2-year-old meth-addicted P-Brain will often aggro someone else, in which case, ouch. But if he does go toward tank and the birds aren't trash, he should insta-crush on the laser. After placing crystals, Berserker should rush as quickly as possible back to the crystals, and he should place them again. The group in the back should keep Maxor aligned so that he crushes as soon as the laser is reactivated. Tank can also use Castle and P1 to have extra HP and aggro if it really is necessary. Healer should be ready to last breath as soon as Maxor is vulnerable. Also, if you're high DPS Archer, you should stop before 200 million HP, which is when Maxor will skip the stun phase. This gives the birds a little bit of extra time. Phase 2 is basically the same as floor 7. Basically, don't nuke yourself like an idiot and clear the pads. Archer should also clear the opposite end, mid, and the adjacent end. If you're used to cloaking P2 and F7, stop, because Storm will strike you down with 999,999,999 true damage. Not a joke, and 3 Wither Cloak too. The only way to survive this is with Bonzo, Spirit Mask, Phoenix, you get the point. In this case, your healer, if he is good, will also glitch into P3 using some Voodoo Ghost block magic. If that is the case, then leap to him when P2 is done, as this makes terminals just a bit faster. When fighting Storm, make sure to last breath as well. Now, in P3, it's time for terminals. Nothing really to say here. I hope you know how to do terminals. Just don't get slammed by Goldor's sword, which will kill you in one hit if you aren't within tank radius. In Goldor's tunnel, it's basically a DPS battle. Try not to get KB'd, though this is basically impossible unless you dig in using the stairs. Tank should use Castle of Stone in this stage to massively increase their EHP and also draw aggro from Goldor. Healer should also use Wish if there's ever anyone catapulted into the frenzy because they're going to take a lot of damage. This is especially true if they're Archer. Place a decoy in the front of P3, as your arrows from Archer will bounce off of it. This will give you a massive damage boost and will help with Goldor's fight immensely. Tank should also try to draw aggro, and healer should land 5 last breath shots for maximum armor shred. In part 4, someone in the party should choose a side to go on, the side of the most people, and everyone should go that side except healer. Healer, or mage in some cases, will go mid and be ready for everyone to teleport to them. When Necron mids, everyone should teleport and Tank should begin to cloak for more DPS. If you don't know what cloaking is, it basically is this. Archers have bouncy arrows bounce. Creepers from Wither Cloak can bounce the arrows, bounce back to Necron, and bounce back to the creepers, and repeat. This is basically what we did with the decoy in P3. This increases my DPS by a load, and you'll definitely know when you're getting cloaking as Archer, because you'll get instantaneous from all the arrows in. Healer should also last breath, then begin to ghost block the stairs and wooden platform to clip into P5. I have no Stonk Master, but basically, you just stand on the stair, ghost block the wood and stone using a ghost axe and ghost pickaxe, and then just walk through it. You can make ghost items like this, and they work like this. Part 5 is, of course, the final stage. Everyone should teleport a healer, and at this point, the healer should have probably gotten the purple relic from all the way back. Everyone else should choose a relic and go place it at the front. You wait a bit, and then boom, some dragons show up. Kill the husks now that they stand up. Clear them out, because they're really annoying, and with Gauntlet of Contagion, it really is a cinch to kill all of them. If you don't already know, the point of M7 is to kill every dragon next to every statue once. Then, when that happens, the Wither King dies. Basically as simple as that. Tank should consistently DPS dragons with Axe for healing and lethality, and healer should land 5 shots on each dragon with the last breath for max damage. Remember, Duplex can help with this. Now, if you want to know the attack patterns of these dragons, so you know which one to DPS, as a person who has played a bit of M7, I have these memorized and I have my own hierarchy of dragons to shoot. I won't list my hierarchy here, as everyone's different, but I will give each dragon an urgency rating and their attack pattern. The red dragon is not urgent unless it is early red, in which case you must target it. Early red is basically when it does Mega TNT early in its run and it offsets its attack pattern, which basically means it goes into its statue much earlier, and basically you must DPS it fast as possible because it occurs very early, and this can save you a lot of time in run because red is the slowest dragon. The green dragon is not urgent, but it is fast. At any time, it can charge a player, which can be manipulated to send it craning into its own statue. In that case, be ready to DPS it, because that means you can get a really fast screen if you pull it off really good. It also deals massive knockback when it hits you, so be careful of that. The orange dragon is urgent. When it spawns, it will fly in a circle toward its own tower, or dash toward its own tower from green statue, in a straight line of flame. Either way, you better get it when it hits the tower, or after this it can be a real pain depending on its RNG. The same thing goes for blue dragon, which is also urgent. When it spawns, it'll fly toward green, then ice dash slowly towards its own statue. It is more urgent than orange because it has a shorter span to cover, but it also ice dashes, so it's more predictable. You can Wither Cloak both orange and blue dragons and they dash along the floor for a much needed damage boost from Archer. Lastly, the purple dragon is both moderately urgent and not urgent. It always teleports to its own statue after 3 teleports at most, so be ready to count and be ready for when it's low. Make sure it is low if it's possible so you can tap it at its statue, but other dragons should be prioritized in many cases. You can choose how you feel about each dragon with experience, as a pair of dragons always spawns at the beginning of every fight. You can prioritize which dragon you feel like is more important. I can't really explain it to you, so you'll get it eventually. Other things to know about the fight is Dimensional Slash and the king itself. Stand too close to the king and you'll get pulled in, netting an instant death. Don't do that. Dimensional Slashes also occur commonly, with a mod typically warning you, like Skytills. They deal 3.75 million damage and will kill you, especially if you have low HP like a mage or low kata. Make sure to avoid glowstone on the floor when you get the warning, as that is where the slash will strike. This is the main source of damage in this fight, as the husks and dragons don't really go after you. And that's it. That's all I can say about M7. Keep in mind that this guide won't make you good at M7, it'll just give you a starting point to learn from when you can actually play the floor. You actually need to get experience to be able to play the floor, and I really don't recommend you join high kata parties if you have like 2 completions. Anyway, thank you for watching, and any addendums will be in the description.